Okay, so we're here at Gracie Barra, Birmingham, with the chief and head coach, Professor Braulio Estima. Braulio, how are you today?
I'm very good, Paul. Very good to have you here. You know, it's always a pleasure to be around, and I'm really excited to talk about some good stuff.
Super. This has been, I would say, about 18 months in the making, because I remember you came to a seminar over in Coventry, which was probably about 18 months ago, and I said, I'm thinking of doing a podcast. I'd really like to interview you. Yeah, give me a number. I got your number eventually off Raj, the owner, and we just have it. You're a very busy man, aren't you?
Man, I don't stop. You know, like even with coronavirus or not, I'm traveling up and down. You know, but eventually we got here, and I'm excited. And I'm sorry for the delay, but you must understand that my life is crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe but like next week, maybe I get a phone call. Bro, listen. I need you here in Japan. I said, okay.
Wow.
There we go.
The life of a high-level professor and a coach.
Yeah, it's very rewarding, because the thing is that the more I travel, I spread out the love of jiu-jitsu, the passion that I have for jiu-jitsu, and then what I created, my legacy. And when I teach, I really want to make sure that everyone have a good time and take something very important on their journey. And then I think people feel that, and they want to have that more and more. And then the more you do, the network just grows more and more, and the connections that we have, and I just get bigger and bigger. And the day only had 24 hours, so we have to kind of juggle around. But that's what I chose. This is my purpose, to use jiu-jitsu as a tool to spread the love of jiu-jitsu.
That's very cool. It's very motivating as well. Can I just quickly adjust your mic, because I noticed it's just come on the outside there. Fantastic. So, how long? We're going to set the groundwork. I would say anybody that, especially in the UK, that does grappling knows who you are. So we don't need to kind of go through the basics. How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu now?
I've been doing jiu-jitsu since '96. It's around 23, 24 years. I started jiu-jitsu with the idea of start something that I would like to be part of, a community that I could be part of, that I could compete. My main goal was, like, I was a skinny guy. I wanted to learn some martial arts that I can protect myself, and also to compete and have as an athlete career. And this is like, since when I started, I actually was doing judo before. And
what did you change? What made you jump from one sport to another?
The reason that I started doing jiu-jitsu was mainly to help my judo. I had experience in judo when I was 10 years old, 9 to 10 years old. My sensei, he passed away, so I got a little bit demotivated, and then I started doing football like everyone does in Brazil. And I was alright in football, but not good enough to go to the next stage. And I got a little bit frustrated with how the politics in Brazil with the football worked, and I decided to, I'm gonna do an individual sport. That it depends only on me. If I lose, it's my fault. If I win, it's my credit, and of course for the coaches. And I decided to go back in judo. And as I started going back in judo, I heard about the Brazilian jiu-jitsu and all that, and I was a little bit skeptical about it first, and then because I thought it was MMA at the time. I didn't really want to do MMA at the time. I wanted to do something nice, and because always I love the idea of someone to be able to protect themselves or control the situation without hurt the opponent. It's look like a little bit of superiority mindset, like the blood sport mentality, like when, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I always like to be the guy that doesn't need to use if you don't need to be. I really like this mindset. So I started doing judo again because I wanted to do some things individual, and then when I heard about jiu-jitsu, and then I did my first class, and I realized that it's not actually MMA. It's pretty similar to judo, but it's more on the ground. So I started using jiu-jitsu to help judo, and see that, and that made me think about that. I fell in love with jiu-jitsu more because of something new, a new wave coming up, which gave me the idea of maybe using judo to help in jiu-jitsu instead. And then it has been like that ever since.
Do you think, whilst we're on this topic of conversation, do you think nowadays that the two still complement each other, or because I would say if you spoke to somebody from the judo school, they would say that judo has developed so much in line with the sport that it's very strong on the stand-up aspect because the sport has led it that way, and then jiu-jitsu has gone very much towards the ground, and then it lacks areas in the takedown skills. Do you agree with that? Or?
Well, look, it's all about how you train, right? Because the difference between judo and jiu-jitsu is pretty much just rules, you know, and there will be techniques in jiu-jitsu that wouldn't work in judo because it's not allowed, you know, like how grabbing the legs, double legs and stuff, that's not allowed because of the rule set doesn't allow. So there's a hell of a new things a lot of other things that you can do in jiu-jitsu that you cannot do in judo, and vice versa. And there's a lot of things that I can only do in judo because the rules allow that I can turn my back and throw the guy cannot jump on your back, you know. Basically, I think they still complement each other as much as wrestling as well complement each other in terms of if you want to be well-rounded. Of course, it is like my friend George St.Pierre always says, you know, like if you understand the martial arts on its flavor, you know, on its own, you can get the understanding of it, and then you can apply. When you put all together, you can apply with your own understanding, your own strategies. You know, so I think it's still complementary, even though we do spend a lot of time training, standing in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well as to have a little bit of incorporate everything that you can do in a competition of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Do you ever recommend cross training?
I think it's good to get a little bit understanding of martial arts in general. You know, when I have trained judo, I have trained wrestling. You know, I have trained when I did my MMA, I trained all kind of martial arts.
Striking.
You know, striking, boxing with a boxer, Thai boxer, wrestling with a wrestler, and then mix all together with the MMA coach, and then get my own concept, and then just keep adding. You know, I think it's important for you to kind of have a feel and understand, having the drink from the source, so you can take your own conclusions.
Very good. Is it true that you bought your blue belt before you promoted?
Yes, it is true. It is true that I didn't buy my blue belt so I can use that, and I use from there on. That's the story that was my first lesson of expectations. You know, there was a special class, a special seminar back in the club that I started training back in Recife, and I remember that I said, okay, man, I think I feel ready for it. You know, I'm down, so I actually am going to order a belt for myself, expecting that I was going to get my blue belt. You know, and at the end of the class, you know, and then the coach was talking, they started giving all the blue belts, and then there was a purple belt, and then there was no more belts. So I said, oh, this must be a joke, and someone's gonna call me soon anytime. They just pranking me, and then just finished. I remember going back home and then crying in the shower. And, oh my God, man, how come I'm not a blue belt? Oh my God, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And then I spent about 3 days without going back to the academy a little bit. It took me 3 days to calm down and realize that the lesson, you know, the main lesson was from that point up until now, I never train to expect a belt. I train to become a better version of myself every single time. And if I do get the belt as a consequence, you know, good. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to be counting on it to get disappointed. So that was the first lesson through jiu-jitsu, not that I can apply in anywhere in life, that if you have high expectations, you just build up the chances to build up frustrations, you know, disappointments. So as I didn't like to be disappointed, I stopped high expectations.
It's a great subject, and I suppose the belt can cause quite a lot of internal turmoil. Maybe that's something we could come on to later at another episode. It's definitely something I want to explore with you. There's been some people say in the MMA community, jiu-jitsu community, that what you get now is kind of watered down from what it was. Now, when I spoke to Stuart Gwilt from Gracie Barra, Hell's Owen, he had said, well, look, it's the development of the sport. He said, gone are the days where we're all, like the early days when you first moved over, and we're all kind of like killing each other on the mat. He said, the sport has to develop and it has to get better. What's your kind of response to people that say that it's been watered down?
Yes, I mean, like I have a very, very strong idea of it. You know, I came from both. I experienced both sides. I experienced the way that we were like being dropped on the cage with lions and survive.
Yeah.
You know, and I have been living the transition and how we are today. You know, and I think everything that happened has happened to the best of the sport, and it didn't change much in the end anyway. Right. Because it doesn't matter what in the main focus and the main purpose that we do here at Gracie Barra is not only making people champions. That's not the only objective of us, you know, because champions only going to be a few, 0.0000001% of the world in jiu-jitsu will be the champion ones. But back in the day, only the people that was the toughest one, that guy, the champion, that was collecting the advantage and the good things that all jiu-jitsu gives you, you know, which is the self-confidence, the self-esteem, you know, understanding more about yourself, become a better version of yourself, and knowing that when you're in a bad situation, you can always have escape. There's always a way out for something if you don't panic. All those lessons that jiu-jitsu gives you through life, you know, only few people was able to experience. And that's when Master Carlos Gracie Jr. came with the Jiu-Jitsu for Everyone. It's not jiu-jitsu for everyone. Like, what means is like anyone can experience and take the benefits what jiu-jitsu gives you. Master Carlos Gracie Sr. always said that if everyone in the world did Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the world would be a much better place to live.
Yeah, quite a positive message.
Exactly, and I do believe that, you know. But when I started, those benefits and those understanding was only for the tough ones, because the people who wasn't into like scrap, go down, you know what, or people didn't have no clue what's going on and just being battered in the mats. There's not many people that they can do, you know. I only carry on really because of ego, because 6 months of my life I was just being smashed, you know, and I was thinking, man, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? Because there was no direction. So what we did was we opened up the arms to people. Listen, guys, you come and see what we do. And we didn't water down the information. We organized the information. There is a system.
Systematized.
Yeah, systematized. Yeah. Because before, I remember that I spent years without even knowing how to even practice escaping from the back, because there was no lessons of escaping from the back. So if someone gets me in the back, that was it, that was over. You know, with the system, you know, we go around with the GB1, for example. We go around the topics of jiu-jitsu that happens all the time, at least 2, 3, or 4 times on the process of the 16 weeks. So it gives you an overview very, very much. And what anybody needs, someone needs a purpose to carry on doing something. And I believe that's what I'm doing is an amazing thing that's going to reap a lot of benefits in the future. You know, I cannot say, listen, you have to run 100 meters in 10.3 seconds. If not, you're not in the team. Dude, just a few people will be able to do that. You know, but if I tell them this, if you can run 14 seconds, and then you can run a little bit, or 16, go down, boom, 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 and it gets the carrot. That can be the drive, you know, that's close by. That's what we need. But we give that to the point that by the time that you are black belt, you know, it's pretty much going to be the same time that I took to get my black belt too. It's just that the blue belt was a little bit quicker, so I can carry on with the motivation that I can do that. You know, I took a long time to get my purple belt. But like, I got my blue belt within 10 months.
Well, okay. Right
here. We give within 12, so it's within the range. But then when the purple belt, I spent 3.5 years in the purple belt, and then the brown belt I spent like two. It was 3 years to get the purple, and 3.5 years to get to brown. But then the brown got not even one year as a brown belt, and I got the black belt. So if you put the time, it's pretty much similar. So what we are doing, it is systematize, make something that is possible for majority of the people can come and be able to experience and reap the benefits of jiu-jitsu. And then I have seen people that wouldn't last a month when I started, but they became a very tough black belt that they are actually spreading the jiu-jitsu and pass it on, the message, the real message, through. Which if he started when I started, he would never be able to have that benefit because the carrot was too far away from him to reach. So that's my idea of it.
That's very good. It's a good answer. It's a very measured answer as well, I think. If let's say the last 10 years in the West Midlands or in the UK, we all owe a lot to you for coming and choosing to come to Birmingham. How much do you owe to Mauricio Gomez for setting this place up?
Man, Mauricio was and Roger Gracie was the main bridge towards it. Okay, I believe a lot of things happens for a reason. I believe a lot of things, the connection I had with Master Carlos Gracie Jr., the connection that I had with Roger Gracie, it's a very unique connection, without expectations. It's just like we just connect somehow, and I believe things happen for a reason. Roger is my best friend, and I'm so glad and very grateful for everything that he's done, and the connection was through that because Mauricio Gomez opened the first Gracie Barra in Europe was here in Birmingham. And then it's so funny that when I got the opportunity to come to London, I stopped my university for 2 months on the holidays, and I went to London to see what's up. And when I was calling to Roger to explain, Roger lives in London. It wasn't permitted aided, I already had booked my ticket. I said, I remember, Roger, he has connection in London. I'm gonna contact him to see what's out there. And I go, hey Roger, how are you doing? Listen, I got this ticket to go to London on the winter between December and November, December, and I would like to see what you're taking it. What do you have any connections or that? Because I don't know, jiu-jitsu is something that I would like to pursue, as I was a brown belt at the time. And he called, brother, listen, I'm about to board to go to London right now, this moment. So call me when you're arriving, and I'll pick you up, and then we're gonna catch up. And then we meet when I came here, and then he goes, brother, look, I'm moving to London from Birmingham. Things are already being moved on. Here we have some structure that comes straight away from here, but I cannot change that. I'd love to have you around me, but there's a club in Birmingham that I will be doing a seminar next week. Come with me and see what's happening. If they like you, you could just take over. So I came, they liked me, I took over, came here, I had a contract, and then I got my visa, and based here, and then made my roots, I met amazing people, amazing friends, and God being really, really good to me. I'm really blessed, and I really appreciate, and also I like to give back as much as I can too.
Yeah, it's incredible. You said you're a football man. There are 2 teams in this city. Are you a blue or are you a claret and blue?
Man, that's a tough one. So I decided not to go none of it to avoid anything. I like good football. I like just to watch. I like to Manchester City, and I like Manchester United. So which is if I like both. I don't know. Both of them will like me. I don't know. Okay. But my son, he plays for Birmingham City.
Oh, cool.
He's the under 9s.
The academy, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's doing well.
Nice. Good.
And they beat Manchester City, Manchester United, and Chelsea. Oh, so maybe I'll become blue soon.
You're closer to the Blues, Grant. Anyway,
but then we have a Professor David Iverson that he's completely, supported of Aston Villa. So we all divided. So as a football fan, I'm an amazing jiu-jitsu fighter.
So jiu-jitsu for you was pretty much established. You came to the Midlands, got everything set up. I think you went Stevie B's first.
Stevie B's first. Yeah, was my first employer. And I owe a lot for him. He's an amazing person. Him and Sarah, they helped me out so much on the beginning. Whoever was taking care of the club after Maurice was Andy Roberts, and also Barry Foley. Barry moved out to Australia, Sydney, and also Andy, he stopped training jiu-jitsu, focused more on his work. He's an architect, an amazing architect, and things just went up in a completely different dimensions. How jiu-jitsu has spread, you know. Today we have an amazing academy, amazing facility, you know, and this is still only picking up to what is going to be. We got a very big wave, and jiu-jitsu is an amazing sport. Is the more people finds out, the more they fall in love with. When I came here, there was nothing. Nobody knew what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. It was only traditional Jiu-Jitsu. There's some tournaments that I actually competed at KSBO, which was made by Paul Davis, you know, back in the day. I think within my 2 months here, I went to compete. There was no, like, only white belts and blue belts, if there was. And, you know, it was a way that I to spread jiu-jitsu around the country. I was going to compete those competitions, you know, and I remember by being in Birmingham, people was coming from all over the country to come and train. And then today we have jiu-jitsu academies in everywhere. Just at Gracie Barra, we have over almost 100 schools in only at Gracie Barra. You know, imagine all the teams. So we came here to the very, very humble beginnings, you know, and I'm very proud to be a little bit of influence on all that. You know, and very, 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 very honored, you know, to have taken this opportunity, this responsibility to spread the world, to spread jiu-jitsu to the world. You know? I
think you've been a bit modest on the little influence there. Why'd you go MMA then? If jiu-jitsu was so good, why go get the MMA route?
It's funny how thing goes. I think we fear what we fear is the unknown, you know. And one of the lessons that I learned through jiu-jitsu was that when you don't know what's going on, you can kind of panic around. But when you know what's going on, even if you've been doing bad, at least you don't panic because you know what's coming, what's happening, you know. And funny enough, remember when I told that I was training judo when I was 9 and 10 years old, right? I remember skipping four gradings from orange belt to the green belt in judo because I was afraid of chokes, right? So once you get the green belt in judo, on the ground you're allowed to go choke. And I was afraid. I said, no way, I'll stay orange. And so I stay orange and I stopped because of my instructor died, right? So, by the way, my instructor didn't die in competing, died in a car crash, unfortunately. So, and then, when I came back, I'm 16 years old, started doing judo again, then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I said, okay, I'll figure it out, okay, I understand. Then I lost the fear of the choke, because I knew that is how I was a counter. So I started practicing, learning jiu-jitsu and stuff, and then that was the first lesson that, okay, if you know what's up, if you know how to deal with it, how to handle, you can do well. But MMA, remember when I said I didn't want to go MMA, but when I figured out that jiu-jitsu is not MMA, I signed up. So the same situation happened then. But one day my coach told me, at the time he was a brown belt, Charles dos Anjos, he moved to America. He told me one day, you're gonna get the purple belt and you're gonna want to do MMA. I said, no way, no, and that's not my thing, that's not my thing. So then that stayed in my mind. And I started training jiu-jitsu, and then once I heard Master Carlos Cristina telling me that we're talking about discussions about self-defense. And he goes, look, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, you know, can handle himself in any one-on-one contact, any fight contact, even if he never trained standing, you know, because, you know, he's practicing and put himself in those situations on a daily basis. You know, so you get used to how to manipulate your body and someone else's body. You get a much better chance than if you train if you do MMA and then go and fight someone out on the street. You know, so once he told me that, I started linking, associating, and said, oh man, that's actually, you know, if I can add some MMA, and I can actually train. I got a little bit of curiosity about it, but still only train jiu-jitsu. I only trained no-gi for the first time as brown belt.
Wow.
It was the very first time I ever trained. In 2002, it was the first time I ever trained no-gi. So, no-gi wasn't very popular at the time. So, and then when I got black belt and I did my championships, and then in 2000, I got to 2009, it was like my pinnacle where I beat all tournaments that I competed, I won weight in absolute, and then I went to the ADCC. I won. It was my best year in my career, and I was on the top grappler of the planet at the time. And I remember that.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
How do you cope with that? How does that feel? We'll definitely carry on, but when you're at the top, how do you then continue to motivate yourself? How do you deal with that?
Yes, that's gonna be a good question. Is a good answer. A good question, and I want to have a very nice answer for that. But just to complete, when you reach there, we always keep asking what's next. What's next? So there's a lot of people come to you. They say, okay, there was some of people was definitive flag of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I felt the guy that could go there and defend with, the Jiu-Jitsu was needing a little bit of a push. I think at that time I remember saying, you know what, I'm gonna take the responsibility. I'll take it, and then I'll go there. And then I start training MMA, and then I kind of felt that I could do it, and I went to my debut. Then we can go that after. I know there were some questions about that, but in the process, when I won the ADCC 2009 weight in absolute, it was a little bit weird feeling. Okay. First of all, because I remember 2005, Roger beat everyone in ADCC, also he's always been his training partner, when he used to compete, it was like me competing, man, I was just rooting for him so much. And I remember that when he won weight in absolute 2005 in Long Beach, and I was like, wow, what a performance, how the guy's the top grappler in the world, the guy's doing an amazing job, and how does he feel when he goes to the shower right now, just him by himself? How is he feeling right now? What is he feeling? The best grappler in the world, won everything, the way that he beat everyone by submission stuff. I just wonder how he's feeling right now. And I think nobody will be able to match that up. So it was like that, and in 2007, I was invited to go to the last minute. I was invited to go to the ADCC. They put me on above weight, and then I fought, and I went to the finals and fought Xande Ribeiro, and it was the best fight of the tournament. We got the prize of the best fights of the tournament, and automatically I got invited for the 2009. So for the first time, I said, you know what, I'm gonna focus, and I will put my time into it, and I want to, for the first time, train for the ADCC, knowing that I'm going to be there. And I started in the Europeans 2009. I won weight in absolute. I won the World Pro. I won the World's Championships, and then ADCC was next, and Panams as well, I think. And I went to the
Don't ever box. Don't ever box professionally, because they have to introduce you by all of your previous.
Really, there's no stop. No. But then, I went to the train hard, and then I went to the competition 2009, and then I just did so good. I tapped all the main guys, from Lovato, Marcelo Garcia, André Galvão, Xande, and a few others. I beat Vini on the semifinals by 6-0. But it was unbelievable, and the only guy that fought and submit both finals at the same time. And that was when the birth of the Estima lock, the birth of the inverted triangle. So I not only beat everyone, all the main guys in the planet, but submitting and in style. I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I didn't expect that, So it didn't feel perfect. It didn't feel good, and it didn't feel just another day. They were telling me, I was nervous. I was like, man, I was tired, all cramped. I said, man, don't know if I can do it. Just want to do it. I just want to go there and do that.
Because Tyson Fury, after he beat Klitschko, basically said, I don't know what I've got to do now. He'd lost his way. Did you experience anything like that?
That's what I'm getting into it. And then when I got back to the hotel, I went to the bathroom, had a shower, and I just thought, so that's what Roger felt in 2005.
Wow.
Right? And I was just like a big weight come out on myself. That's the first thing that I felt, no weight, kind of. But I was starting kind of wondering the next day. It was like, is that it? Like, I felt a little bit of empty on Monday because I didn't have no plans. I didn't have no. My mind was saying, okay, now I need to improve on that. I need to improve on that. I need to fix everything. Just went how perfect it could be. It didn't feel perfect, but that's the result that came out. And I got to the point that I actually was scared of flying back because I thought the plane was going to fall. Because that was on my mind. That was my purpose in life. That was it. Wow. You know, I said, oh, man, what if the plane falls? I got so stressed about that I lost my laptop. I left my laptop on the security. So kind of, you know, because I was thinking, maybe this is it. You know, it's my duty. Your destiny. In Earth, my destiny, right? And then after that, you know, like I got a little bit of, and then that was another lesson. And the lesson was, you can never put your purpose to reach one specific point. Because once you reach the point, what happened? You know, it's like if you go, life is not climb the highest mountain and come back down. You know, it's about keep going. It's not never stop. You know, and I have to tune but when I tuned, I have to understand what's gonna carry on going on the mountain. What kind of mountain that's never gonna stop going up? There's endless mountain, you know. So that's the thing. The endless mountain is how can I spread the positive aspects and lessons that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gave to me to others, to try to others experience all those benefits, how to become a better version of themselves on a daily basis. And that was a thing that I always tried to do since the expectations that when I wanted to have when I thought I was going to have my blue belt, you know, those mindset that you have on a daily basis here, you learn it, you start understand that it's not what we always say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And the journey is about to become better version of yourselves on a daily basis. You just want to become a better version, so like you hang out with people that have the same kind of vibe, the positive vibes, help others, you know, appreciate, give back, and try to, we start tuning in, like I try to become like I want to become, because black belt, right? You get a black belt and is the end? Okay, you know it all? No, you're not, because you can always learn, right? So I start focusing on being not only a good fighter, but also a good instructor, you know, and I start to understand, I did my studies and research and how to teach in a different way that people can get what you want to pass, you know, and how can I come across with things that I really know, how to pass it on, how to spread the experiences that I had in jiu-jitsu to life, you know, and how to teach people to do the same, and try to explain the benefits that I've got, how did I reap all those benefits through jiu-jitsu, and how I can pass it on so they can have the same, even if they don't need to be a champion. So like that became my purpose, using jiu-jitsu to spread a good positive impact and helping people to become a better versions of themselves. By that, you give them also a purpose, a goal, and then things that people around you have the same vibe, with the same mindset, and then makes my life enjoyable, because that's what I like when I teach. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people understand what is jiu-jitsu, just more than just choking each other and armbring each other out. You know, the element of trust that we have in jiu-jitsu that we practice on a daily basis is unique. You know, you stop to think about that. If someone gets in a choke, you know, you tap, they let it go. You know, but really, if they want to, he could just kill you, really. You know, but that, and vice versa. You know, if I get him in arm, I could break the arm if I want to, but it taps, I let it go. So this kind of vibe of trust that we practice on a daily basis made a connection with our brotherhood that's unique than any other martial arts, that I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I'm just trying to win a game, which is like a problem-solving game. How can I submit you without hurting you? You know, and to be honest, every time that I got hurt myself, any choke on arm was because I didn't want to tap. because of my ego. I didn't want, and then I ended up hurting myself. But if I always stopped to know how I was supposed to, I would never get injured. Nobody deliberately just yanked my arm or choked me out and put me to sleep on purpose. And this vibe it cannot be explained, just can be experienced. So do jiu-jitsu.
A quick disclaimer that you won't get your arm broke, essentially, here. Actually, whilst we're on the injuries, so we're going to talk about the biggest thing, which is what I've asked you here today. So you're the top grappler, all right, top of the pyramid, you've won pretty much everything. You then progress into MMA, start training MMA, and you underwent or were the victim of this freak accident in the cage during training. Can you tell us a little bit about, or tell the listeners a little bit more about
Yes, I mean, like, I was training MMA, at in Nottingham. I was actually going to visit my brother. And I said, no, I'm going to do some MMA. Sorry, guys. Okay, so just carry on. You can edit that. So, I'll just finish in 1 second. Because otherwise I'm going to work again. So, like, when I start, I went to visit my brother, and then I said, no, I'm going to pass it on to do some jiu-jitsu, some MMA. And then I had Stuart Cooper with me. He was doing some videography for my stuff. And, so my journey, what's going on, we're already preparing something for MMA and stuff. He wants to do the road to the ADCC 2011. And I remember that I went to train, and I was sparring for Andre Arena. I went to a single leg, put my head outside. He tried to take me down, and I tried to stop with my head. And then I remember just like, man, no pain whatsoever, completely solid.
Yeah.
I just...
So that video is out on YouTube, and I would caution anybody that does watch it. It's pretty horrific.
Yeah, I can't watch. If I watch, I cry.
Yeah. So essentially you broke your neck.
Yeah, it's like my 2 vertebrae was like, prolapsed, and then 2 discs prolapsed, the C4, C5, hit the spinal cord, I got tetraplegic for a few minutes.
Okay,
and
all right. Okay.
And then
So it was a traumatic herniation.
Yes, and then 24 hours without moving, NIA and A&E. It's a surgery situation, not allowed to grapple whatsoever. If I wanted to be a sportsman, the guy said to do darts, not even golf I could be, so it was pretty much crazy. But
did you think you were going to be the best darts and player in the world?
Maybe the hips are good,
So, well, I mean, if you're the top grappler and you can, because that was one mistake, wasn't it? You went one way instead of going.
Yeah, I mean,
to the outside of his legs, you went on the inside, which is where he kind of.
Yeah, he tried to throw me over. As now, if you see the IBJJF, they ban to this technique. If someone puts your head outside, you're not allowed to throw him on the back. But MMA, you're allowed anything. So basically, I tried not to fall. I tried to stop it, and then that's what happened to me. And the technique was right. His technique was right. It's just that I didn't want to accept, and already my neck probably already being damaged through the training, and then. Crazy. The worst feeling that I could ever feel is like take your head out and see your body dead, Yeah,
I mean, when you watch it, the fear when you hear yourself say "I'm paralyzed" is
worst
just,
feeling. It's the worst feeling that I ever had in my life up to date.
So you pretty much went in for immediate surgery.
That wasn't immediate. I had to spend like 24 hours, and then I had to
traction.
Yeah, without moving.
Yeah.
Then I was released. And then I had to do surgery. But every surgeon that I have been seeing was told that after the surgery, I couldn't be able to fight anymore. So I did my research. I spoke to Kevin Ling from London, a very good physiotherapist. And then
Kevin
Liddell.
Okay, yeah.
He's an amazing physiotherapist, and he indicated Dr. Peter Harmeling. He's the best surgeon in Europe, spinal surgery. And I went to have a consultation with him. He saw. And he said, like, because there's 2 levels, he will have to do a specific surgery for this new device that links both vertebrae at the same time, gives a little bit of movement. And he said he has put a rugby player back to the professional
Back on the field.
Back in the field. Then I said, "Oh, I like you already." After cry so many other times that I left the consultation.
Well, I was going to say it's quite a big, been the kind of grappler at that time, and then told, right, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah, the first thing that came in my mind was like, JACARE's fight, man. I mean, that was the second thing. First thing was I couldn't be able to pick up my kid anymore, but then the second was like, how about the fight against JACARE? His super fight is in 2011. This was 2010.
Yeah.
And then, when I spoke to the doctor, we went through the time, and then I remember that up until date, I never had fought JACARE 4 times, and I never have beat him. Not even scored one advantage on him.
Is he your toughest opponent?
He was the toughest opponent, my toughest opponent, and I really was looking forward to that fight in 2011. To kind of redeem myself, to prove myself that I can actually, surpass him with the level that I achieved through training. So this match was booked until September 2011, and the injury was in July, I think, 2010, and then I went to surgery in February 2011.
Wow.
4th February.
So how did Kevin, who was physio, how did he guide you through your...
Yes, I went to do this. I went to talk to him because he has guided me all my injuries. He always helped me out, and Roger, and then so many top athletes in the UK. And then he mentioned, like, this is surgery. You need to talk to a specialist and see what's up. And then we made the calculations, and I would need 4 months without even work to train or for 4 months, and I started to do light exercise after 2 months. So basically, I had planned a pretty audacious training plan of recovery. What it was: do the surgery on February 4th and fight in September 27th or 29th, something like that. So I had 4 months to recover from the surgery, and I would have 4 months to build myself back up and be as good as ever be, to be able to fight someone that had never even scored one advantage.
Wow.
But the thing is, that was the proof that if you really want something, and if you envision, and if you do what it takes, if you do your part and believe, in yourself, and tell to yourself and to the universe that you can and that you will, with conviction, you can, man. You can, because if I did, I'm not a superhuman. I'm far from it. I have so many flaws in my life, But one thing that I know that I have good is determination and willpower. And through jiu-jitsu, it helped me to have faith in myself and focus on the positive. Like my master always said, focus on the positive. And this was a lot of lessons that made me to achieve that. And that achievement, it wasn't the medal or beating JACARE that was the main thing for me. It's a battle to myself, that the willpower to prove that it doesn't matter what people tell you, if you can or if you can't, unless if you have to tell yourself, is what matters. That's what matters. There will be people say, "Oh, brother, man, you can do it." But brother, man, no, man, why are you doing this? Don't do it. People will say, people say, I don't know, brother. No. But so in the end, is how much you want, how much you believe in, how much you want to do what it takes to achieve what you want. And if you're on the mindset, in the positive mindset, and in focus, if you really believe, man, I remember I was filming me before and after the surgery with the purpose to prove people that I can do it. So I did a videography. I made the whole system, the whole process.
Yeah.
But every day I was thinking about the fight. Every single day, to the point that when I got to the fight, I touched hand to hand, and I was, oh man, it's happening, man. It's happening. It's now. It was crazy. It was a 30 minutes of a battle. I managed to take him down, things that nobody ever had taken him down. And then I was a wrestler, so I managed to, I was active. I was 30 minutes of non-stop pressure, and he did his attacks and stuff. I managed to defend, And in the end, I got his back and I scored the 3 points. And that was 30 minutes of battle, after a neck surgery 8 months prior to that date. It was my biggest achievement that I ever acquired in my career, for many reasons.
How did that feel? I suppose that's getting to an even higher mountain than what you climbed before.
Yeah.
How do you then kind of come back from
But
that? Or
by that time, I already had learned so much of the lesson of 2009. So how I did it, I was just happy that I managed to achieve that, to prove to myself that I could, right? And leave a legacy that if you have that willpower and it work around, if you ask and tell the universe and be that you want, you can, and the universe just conspire to. So I am, from that point, I've already that is a give back. That event, it wasn't a taker. It was a give back. It was like, see, it is possible. Take that lesson. Take that scenario as an example of a life experience, and apply on anything in life too. And that was a give. When you do anything to give, you just wait for the next thing to happen, to carry on, which was different than in 2009. In 2009, all I wanted to be is a champion. Is a take. Is it for me? Not for anybody else. I want to do it. I want to win. I won. And, the other one, when I wanted to do JACARE, it was like, I want to prove that this can be done. This can be done. See, it can be done. Take it, information, and apply on anything you have in life. And that was, it's like, it's a given. And then when I give him, by appreciating what I went through and I giving back, it's just like it's a snowball of positivity for me. It's just one more step towards what my purpose is. I have as a purpose for me here.
Very good. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm conscious of the time, and I know you've got to get away. In a kind of a short sentence, I've got to ask you 2 more questions, right? Just give me a short response. What has jiu-jitsu given you?
Jiu-jitsu gave me a very good. It's for me, jiu-jitsu is a perfect metaphor for life. I can, through my experience in jiu-jitsu, gave me. I can explain anything in life. And then what jiu-jitsu gave me, it was a pathway of a learning process that by get to know a lot about myself, and then trying to understand that it's not about be better than anybody, is be as good as you can ever be, become a better version of yourself, regardless. And as jiu-jitsu is the best metaphor for life, and this I can apply anything in life. So that's what is my purpose. It's not trying to be better than anybody, and I understand that we all in the same community. We have people around here that we want them to be happy, be good, and this automatically going to make me the same way. If they try to become better version of themselves, and I try to become a better version of something, and show them how we do. Everyone evolves with jiu-jitsu, So those things that understand yourself within jiu-jitsu, understand that you all have limitations, we're all different, and just understand yourself within this kind of lessons that you can be applied in anything in life. So I think understand the what we learn in jiu-jitsu can be transferred and applied in anything in life. That's the main thing I learned in jiu-jitsu.
That's very good. We're very positive though, there's always a negative.
Yeah.
So what has jiu-jitsu cost you?
Look, every positive, to something positive to exist, it has to have the negative, to be able to have the contrast, right? So for every negative things that happen in jiu-jitsu, it made me appreciate all the positive that I have, So negatives. You know, there's a lot of negatives. You know, in terms of lessons, but I don't take the negatives as in being a bad thing. I take as in the opposite of the positive, as in pulse. You know, for example, injuries. You know, I had some injuries, but made me improve all the techniques that learn when by the time that I improved, I was a better fighter. You know, we have people that like left you and betrayed you, you know, but then it makes you appreciate who stays with you. You know, it's sad, but at the same time makes you appreciate who really deserves and give back to who really deserves. Then they have the same thing, and it just becomes about so many lessons. But what I always focus is on the positive. I'm sure there are so many negatives that happen, but I don't even register, because I take as a lesson of appreciation of the good things I have. And as my master says, and keeps saying all the time since I speak to English, you gotta focus on the positive. When you focus on the positive, the only way is up.
Brilliant. Professor Braulio Estima, thank you very much for your time, much appreciated.
Paul, thanks so much.
Cheers, thank
Hope
you.
you enjoy it.
And see you next time on the mats.
I'll see you on the mat, guys.